Ian Wright defends two Manchester United stars for doing something Ruben Amorim doesn't want. Ian Wright has defended two Manchester United stars for doing something that Ruben Amorim probably didn't want during the international break. Up to 17 Manchester United stars have been unavailable for first-team training during the international break as Ruben Amorim takes over as the club's manager as the new head coach. Joining at the beginning of the break to replace Erik ten Hag, the 39-year-old has been able to take first-team training this week as he figures out which players he wants to start during the opening months of his time at the club. Amorim's first game is against Ipswich Town on Sunday, the 24th of November. In the days before this, he will have his entire squad in training, barring injuries. Many have been wondering who will fit best into the 3-for-3 system Amorim likes to employ, with hints that Amad Diallo is set to start as the side's number 10. Wright defends two stars. Over the international break, Marcus Rashford and Casemiro caused a stir online as the pair were spotted in America to watch an NBA fixture during their allocated holiday time. Some fans have blasted the players for choosing to fly over to the West Coast for a few days rather than stay at Carrington, with Casemiro's family also visiting Disney World. Rashford was spotted training at Nike's HQ in his off time. Speaking on Stick to Football, former United captain Gary Neville asked ex-Arsenal striker Ian Wright if Amorim would be happy with the duo's decision to fly to the USA. Wright responded by explaining that although it may not have been something Amorim wanted, the duo were perfectly entitled to their holiday time. Ruben Amorim, the manager, would he think, "Okay, that's what I'd want my player doing, preparing for my first transition, being 12 hours away," Neville started. "Would you want them on a 12-hour flight and an 8-hour time difference for 3 or 4 days? Would you, if you were Amorim, would Amorim look at it and think, yeah, that's the right thing to do, guys, well done?" Wright replied, "Probably not. Look at Casemiro. Casemiro, as an experienced player, he feels like, I'm going to do that. It's his choice. Maybe he's coming towards the end, he might be thinking, well, whatever you do, I'm not really fussed. And in respect to the other players who are going, it's just their decision. If it's a bad decision from them, from Amorim's point of view, then he'll relay that, won't he?" He continued, "They've got more scope to go and do more things. They can fly off there and come back in time before their jet lag kicks in. They can do all that." Neville responded by explaining that he feels the two players should have looked into the optics of the trip, asking whether they felt Amorim or the fans would have wanted to see them away. "I mean, maybe, look, I just think from a professionalism point of view, look at the details," he said. "I just think, I'd ask the question, would my new manager want to see me there, would the fans?" Man United fans concerned after footage of what supporters shouted at Marcus Rashford emerges. Manchester United star Marcus Rashford was in attendance at Madison Square Garden for the New York Knicks versus Brooklyn Nets. Manchester United supporters noticed the comment a fan made to Marcus Rashford out in New York City. Having been overlooked from the England squad once again, Rashford has been in the Big Apple over the international break and spent his Friday evening at Madison Square Garden watching the New York Knicks beat the Brooklyn Nets 124-122 in the NBA. Rashford was courtside for the game and chatted to players before being shown on the big screen at the iconic arena. The 27-year-old was filmed leaving MSG with his entourage and escorted by officers to a large minivan. Some members of the public had gathered outside as Rashford walked to the vehicle and one fan delivered a savage put-down to him. In footage circulating online, the fan appears to ask Rashford, "Why don't we get you to Crystal Palace?" in an apparent dig at his form dropping off. It was unclear if Rashford heard it, but the jibe attracted plenty of responses in the comments. One wrote, "To be fair, I can see him playing for Palace." A second said, "Do they have no shame?" A third added, "It's getting to about his level now, to be fair." A fourth replied, "Yeah, let's get him at Crystal Palace." Rashford received a signed jersey from Knicks star Jalen Brunson and posted about his experience at the NBA, taking to Instagram to write, "Great game, Jalen. Thanks for the Nike Knicks jersey. Best of luck for the rest of the season." The day after the game, Rashford was in a local gym getting a sweat on and posted a picture of him in the zone. United returned to action on Sunday with a visit to newly promoted Ipswich Town, managed by former coach Kieran McKenna. The fixture will be a first game under new boss Ruben Amorim after he signed a contract until 2027 to replace Erik ten Hag at Old Trafford. Rashford and Casemiro criticised for US trips. Gary Neville has criticised Manchester United stars Marcus Rashford and Casemiro for their decision to make lengthy trips to the US during the international break. Rashford was spotted attending an NBA game between the New York Knicks and Brooklyn Nets at Madison Square Garden, where he sat front row and socialized with basketball star Jalen Brunson. Meanwhile, Casemiro opted for a family holiday at Disney World in Orlando, sharing relaxing snaps on social media. On the Stick to Football podcast, Neville spoke candidly about his frustration. Professionalism is about looking after your body and being as prepared as possible for the next training session. That's a huge part of any player's career, especially at a club like Manchester United, he said. The former England international stressed that with United in decline and manager Ruben Amorim just starting his first training session at Carrington, these long trips are not reasonable. "I understand Rashford needs time off, but you have to consider the location. Flying 12 hours to New York with a big time difference, that doesn't help you recharge, it just tires your body out." With Casemiro, a 30-year-old player who has won the Champions League 5 times, you have to think more carefully about your decision, Neville stressed. The former Manchester United defender also couldn't hide his disappointment. When the team is playing badly, 13th in the table, and a new manager needs everyone to agree, you choose to go on a trip like that. That's not an effective way to recharge, and certainly not the right thing to do when you're part of Manchester United. Ruben Amorim has officially started his first training session at Man United, preparing for the crucial game against Ipswich this weekend. However, a lack of focus from some of his players has made his first days in charge even more stressful. Rashford and Casemiro, despite returning to training at Carrington, have faced criticism not just from Neville, but also from the public. With Manchester United struggling to find form, their decision to take a break in America seems to have sent the wrong message about their commitment and focus on the team. Manchester United will need to work harder to improve, but whether the stars will put the team ahead of personal priorities remains a big question mark.